Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlickers, shells, debts, slicers, peasants, vassals, minions, meat sacks. I'm Useful Idiot. Welcome. And I want to go into one of these videos that I really enjoy because it's a little slice of history. And even though the history is rather recent, it's still very enjoyable. That's the fact that in February of 2016, this is a year ago, when Trump was still running for president and the election was still assumed to be in the bag for Hillary Clinton, there was a movement similar to what is going on now, the so-called resistance. And they're using a lot of the same language and the same criticisms of Trump that we see with the liberal base now. And that was the conservative base. What a surprise. And so once again, it addresses this issue that a lot of times now, particularly the liberal base now discusses the GOP as if there's some sort of monolith. And there's a lot of different variations of the GOP right now, just like there are of the Democrats. And so back in February of 2016, the GOP base were the ones who were appalled, repulsed, afraid, and dismayed about the idea of Trump running for president and winning the GOP nomination. And in fact, they had a movement called hashtag Never Trump. Boy, does that sound familiar? So they said they would rather vote for Hillary, even though they thought she was completely unprincipled, unquote. And so that's kind of interesting as well. And so we have the evangelicals, the neoconservatives, the libertarians, and the Tea Partiers, and then the Democrats all lining up to vote for Hillary during the election cycle and being appalled by Trump. So interesting how things work out. And so of course, the GOP were criticizing Trump for the same reasons that we see liberal base criticism now, talking about the tax issues and the idea of liberty and racism and misogyny and erratic behavior and the like. And just like the liberal base, the GOP base also assumed that Clinton would crush Trump in a landslide. And this article that I'm citing, which I'll post below, talks about the fact that they saw a, quote, inevitable massive loss, unquote, concerning the split in the GOP party and a landslide victory for Clinton. So like I say, history comes back to haunt us. One of the interesting criticisms I saw was that one conservative base member said that, quote, when I see Donald Trump, I see a Democrat, unquote. So I guess that's probably the worst thing that somebody in the conservative base could think of to insult Trump, is to say that he reminded him of a Democrat. He went on to say, quote, I believe he's a liberal and always has been, unquote. And they were concerned that Trump would actually drag the GOP to the left. And of course, now Trump is a president and now he's in office, and they have the same criticisms, but he's hardly dragging the GOP to the left. But of course, things are still up in the air. And even the GOP were also already discussing a year ago. They were already discussing the idea of impeaching Trump and Pence so they could get rid of Trump and Pence and then make Paul Ryan president. And that was the plan that they had a year ago. So once again, eerie that we have the GOP base echoing a lot of the same ideas that are being echoed by the liberal base now, which once again supports my idea that essentially this two-party paradigm is just a fantasy and is fake and is interchangeable. And we certainly see that in this case. And in fact, they referred to their movement, the GOP base, back a year ago, February 2016, as a, quote, resistance, unquote. And they said they laughed at liberals who said they would move to another country, and yet now they were discussing the same idea of moving somewhere else because Trump of becoming president. And so they look at Trump the same way the liberal base does, that he's vain and conceited and a braggart and a buffoon, has no class, and is not really conservative. So they also went on to say that he's a unprincipled, amoral, self-promoting, con man, an egomaniac, petty, overreacting, and a fascist. And they don't trust his Christianity either. I guess this video is kind of for the liberal base. When you're looking at Trump and you're talking about the GOP and the conservatives, you better be careful, because it turns out that a whole lot of conservative base feels the same way about Trump that you do. So how about that? Hashtag Never Trump, February 2016, a year ago. The GOP and their resistance to Trump. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.